It's just trying to work our way through things. Or not ATS, ETS. I keep getting them mixed up. But trying to earn enough to be able to pay off this truck. So get a couple missions done before I have to go for a smoke run. Other than that, I'm going to start the podcast in the background. I'm going to get myself kind of up and ready. And then I'm going to have a smoke and then off we go. Hope you guys enjoy. Meet me. You know what? I need to turn that on before I forget.
The military is the biggest group
There we
of
go.
and assholes you've ever met.
Made a CQB AT4.
Hold on, timeout.
Get on your iPhone
17.
or your Android and bitch about it. Go buy
Ooh,
a plot of
that's
land,
actually
roll
not
around
bad.
in the mud and each other. Nobody cares.
You know what? I'm definitely would be down for that. Nice little triple that way.
The
Yes,
Lawton
please.
Bomber.
What does that word even mean?
Lawton
It means him.
is the land where Flavor forgot in Oklahoma.
Okay.
And Bomber is an explosive.
Is it?
I'm going to have my smoke and then off we go.
What's a bomb?
With the bomb.
Explosive?
So
Do you know anything about explosives?
I know they suck.
Why?
I know I don't like them.
But why? I don't get it. They're
I
cool
think
to
it's
watch.
just the thermobaric ones that suck, actually.
The what?
Thermal barracks, yeah.
I see that's a big word I ain't got. Yeah, it's
It was a joke. A vacuum bomb. Never mind.
Yeah, it's a fuel air.
Never mind. He got it. The engineer's laughing his
Okay.
fucking ass off in the corner. Jesus
It's,
Christ.
it's,
break
it's,
that shit down with crayon for me next time, all right?
it's a grenade that you have to throw and then leave. the stage. You can't be, I mean, you can, but you shouldn't.
Like that's an actual thing we have. Like this exists. like it's not like
I'll
a
tell you,
theoretical.
no, it's real, and we had it. I carried one early on, like before they came out, and
We're going to have all
literally,
the coolest stuff.
if you throw them, like you shouldn't be in. You should be at least 5 rooms away when you throw it, and it came with a 5-second regular grenade.
That's not enough seconds.
I want a couple
Yeah.
hot dogs.
And when
At least
I,
it
Maybe
was
that'll
the
be a part
flashbang.
3.
Dude, what catches
oh, yeah,
people? The flash.
1.5, yeah, 1.5. I love the Navy flashbangs. They're the best. The
No, it's a.
light
I
ones.
think would be my plan, and then we can
Well,
have
they
them do
blew off a
more.
bunch of people's hands, so apparently that was a problem.
Because money, 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 money.
Because you're like, I got
They like make you want to vomit. So I had a squad leader in Afghanistan was just batshit crazy, and he got bored, and he would like throw like we'd be at the range right next to our cop, and he'd throw the riot control grenades. Like,
Jesus,
over the
that is
wall,
actually
and
relatively
fucking, by the
loud.
way, those hit every fingernail on every single one of your hands. The rubber ball
those
ones,
stingers,
those
yeah.
things hurt so fucking bad.
Yeah.
But then
Okay.
I was in a tower middle of the night, not minding my own business, and I hear like clunk, 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 and I look down and just white, and I could hear nothing. My equilibrium was off. I started like dry heaving. It was the worst experience of my fucking life. He flashbanged me in the tower because he was bored.
overpressure.
Yeah. And that's how you get TBI.
Yeah, that was
And on
Cold.
that note, welcome to Unsubscribe Podcast. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Today, we have an epic episode. Nick is back from his accident.
Okay, off we go.
I'm sensing a backstory.
Some more semi-truck
There really
bullshit.
isn't. That's the sad part.
Habitual.
habitual life.
And then we got
Tyler.
Tyler. Our big, would you give me
Tyler
some-
Gray.
All
There
right, let's
we
get on
go.
with this.
That's all I got. That's my
Social
title.
media.
That's
They're
my
just
title.
gonna type in Tyler in Google and be like,
I don't know who
fucking this
guy
dude.
is.
Acclaimed.
Power 7
You're a
on.
Navy SEAL, right? I'm joking. Just don't kill me.
Okay.
Only when I'm
We
working.
can go to my destination.
Yeah, it's so true. It's absolutely true.
So,
Hopefully she doesn't break
on
my
this
boy
episode,
there.
we're just, I'm excited for this one. I haven't seen Tyler. This
Yeah,
is my
it's-
boy.
Probably when we shot the video.
Yeah, I know. It's been
Wow.
fucking forever ago. That was like
Oh.
forever ago.
I don't
Okay.
even know what year that was.
2018,
Alrighty. Oh wait.
I think. And
I'm gonna restart that, and I know what
This
happens. I have
is
to take the mods
or
back out.
17. This
That's
is
fucking
we did
awesome.
a Memorial Day video. Matt, Tyler, me had an idea.
She'll-
Like,
she'll come back
this is
online, you
how
guys,
I
don't
want
worry.
it. This
You
is-
had an idea.
I had an idea, and then in 2 days, I got 30 million views.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
fucking
It was a lot.
monster. It was a monster.
It was a
video.
great video. You
Still
did a
one of my
great job.
favorite videos
Yeah,
we've
great,
ever
great
done.
job.
You're bringing back old friends together. I got my new friend Ethan that I've been talking with on the internet
There,
for a
we'll
year. I
just
brought
go
him
with
here
that.
so I get him
That
fucking
should fix
fired
that.
from the military. That's why I brought him here.
I know. And we
I gotta
did.
drink a
I'm
little
gonna
bit
get him
more
get
then.
kicked
Yes.
out.
You're gonna-
That's my whole
I mean,
goal.
can't you get fired for anything nowadays?
I know.
Like, pretty much?
Somewhere, if I'm not on like the Army's watch list, I'd be really surprised. Like somebody somewhere just watches my content, like, let me see if I can Google that. just to see if I've stepped over the line a little bit too far that they can arrest me.
You should see his camo face paint. It's just black. It's weird.
Hopefully this rolls back in.
You're saying that shit because you got Lord of Lips in here.
Come on, please.
That's the new meme. The army.
Yes, I know content
Kit, but
change.
it's just all black.
Because I mean, I lost that job though.
do this.
I'm assuming
They won the war,
I
but got
did.
canceled on the internet.
Yeah.
So weird that the kit only comes with one color.
$9,000 though. Well, I guess the other ones
Black
give me
is found
better.
nowhere in nature.
I know that's always the best thing. It's
yeah.
like darkness.
Darkness.
Oh, we stick out real bad.
Wear your black boots, because you know that color doesn't exist.
Dude, Nick. So we had Nick had a terrible accident.
Haven't gone that way.
What happened? That lined up
And this one
perfectly.
would bring
There
me
I
up
was
to another
in
one.
Australia,
Jason Bird.
wrestling wild
And go from there.
amphibians. I don't know. You tell me what happened. You made this shit
You
up.
were trying to
Yeah,
teach
we're gonna have to go pick this
Europeans about the standard system. That's what you're doing, right?
It's true.
Yeah.
What happened? You had like something on like your last video. There was like a swelling or something. I didn't notice it, but everyone was like, "What happened to Nick? What happened? Did you have like a jaw like?"
Oh, I have a
swelling of your
long
face?
ways to drive.
No
Eh?
idea.
Dude, people were pointing it out. I was like, "What the fuck?"
That's called edema,
Probably.
medically.
Is that what
No, I
happened?
have no idea
Hold on.
what you're even talking about.
I swear people point. Never mind. Nick, sorry. I thought it just coincided with
Lose
something
out.
because people were like, "What happened to his face?" And maybe it's just your face.
This
Probably.
experience
I don't know.
not. This experience
Yeah,
I'm
not.
sorry. And yes, Nick is a host. We are going to be rotating the host.
That's way
Cody's
too
a
heavy.
host. Fucking Nick's a host and Brandon's a
You know what?
host.
6-ton.
And we were gonna have guests on.
But Eli's not a host.
I'm not a host.
Yeah.
I'm a guest always.
Is this the mic that Brandon like put his mouth over because it smells like gunpowder and political
Not
change?
6 and 10 kilometers. We're not going to drive all the way there. We're going
There we
to.
go. How's everyone doing? It's good to have you back. Good to have you on
Yeah,
the
it's
first
been
time.
way too long. Yeah.
We got a
Nick.
mission, Nick. Nick's gonna have a story
Hi.
for us historically.
Oh, fuck.
He has one,
Yeah, okay,
I
that's not gonna
hope,
work.
in the can. We're gonna
Yeah,
and
where's
then
it?
ask
Let's see
amazing
here.
stories from you.
Um,
both.
navigation,
have I
quick
pulled that
travel.
one? The reason we do a stray no volts test.
The what?
So one of our things with missiles is we
We have
find
some
out
fun
like it's a
spinning
test.
that.
We make sure
That's
there's no
lots
stray
of
voltage in any of the
anyways.
lines or anything like that. And for like years, no one knew why we did this test. It was just a safety precaution. Come to find out, and it's like a random obscure fact.
Shit, wait,
that-
hold on. Before you finish, we gotta pop these. I'm an asshole. By the mic, everyone in front of your mic.
Oh, hold on. Let me get a hold of it.
3, 2, 1.
Have you ever said why we actually do that?
On to your story. I have no fucking clue. We just started it.
And it's a thing.
Off
That's
we
the
go.
new audio sync instead of the clap.
Oh yeah.
It is. Oh
We
yeah.
don't, we don't talk about the
No,
clap no
that's the
more?
real reason.
I just fucked it up.
No, you're good.
His audio is going to be out
That's
of
how
sync for
little I
everybody
drink carbonated drinks. I was like, oh shit, I fucked this up.
How do I do this? So in the 1970s, I want to say it was like 72 or 73, we had the Nike Hercules system, which is America's
We'll hope for the
honestly
best.
my favorite air defense system we've ever come up with. The theory was you just put a nuclear warhead on the end of an air defense missile, and doesn't matter how many jets Russia throws at you, you can hit them all once, and they're all just gone. Because America, that's what we do. We did this several different times. But
Wait,
the
we literally just like let's put a nuke at the end of it.
yeah, it was either a 2 kiloton or 20
That was
kiloton.
like the 1960s through the mid 80s, though, for everything.
The Cold War, we were like, fuck it.
And their theory was, as long as we set it 100,000 feet up, we should be good. Don't know how, I don't math that math. Like, I'm not a nuclear engineer. I have no idea what that does to the atmosphere,
to my
but we're there.
destination.
But anyways, these things are stored horizontally, and then they would point them up, obviously, to use them.
I don't
In
think
the
I've listened to
1970s in
Unix
Okinawa,
before,
Japan,
but I
stray
guess apparently
voltage
I've been.
arced from somebody and set off a Nike Hercules horizontal across the island and like killed 3 people. And the Navy had to send out divers to go fish a nuclear warhead out of the ocean. That's a real thing.
Just from an arc.
Yeah, it arced and
Okay.
accidentally set off
Now
the
slow down.
solid state fuel inside.
Oh, that private was probably
Oh,
terrified.
fired.
I know.
Fired 1,000
Oh,
times.
that's what I forgot to search up.
Yeah, that
No, imagine if he like walked up, he's like, we just, uh-oh, oh no. Big Sword's gonna be angry. You're just waiting there, you're like, hey Captain, I lost the nuke.
I just set it off.
It was a small one.
Built by the lowest bidder.
It was a small
That's
one.
what that was.
Well, it's like technically, so this is a true story. I was at some gas station, and this woman at the gas station came out and was chewing me my ass about using my cell phone while I was pumping gas. And she's like, I can explode. I'm like, yeah, I know it's theoretically possible, but I'm like, do you hear it on the news? You know what I mean? I was like,
Yeah,
come on,
it's
calm
very
down.
low
And she
line.
was irate. And I'm like, God, come on.
Oh, people get pissed
Crazy,
now. They're like,
man.
crazy. Just pull back just a smidge. Dude, Tyler, you're probably gonna have the craziest stories out of this entire.
I don't know what stories.
Come on,
You
I
have a
get
couple.
moving.
What can you have stories?
Probably
you
the
can't
craziest.
tell?
Yes, my craziest
You have a
stories.
whole blacked out list of stories.
Yes.
Redacted.
We don't know what happened for these years, but
Yeah.
the rest of it.
And the crazy part is those redacted stories aren't military stories. They're, certain genre of personal life.
Well, like, go into your history. So, like, what is your background?
Background, I was in Army SOF, Special Operations.
You always come get
Spent
my training.
almost 10 years there, got medically retired after getting hurt, and then
What's that better
moved
to go in
to
now? That's the
Hollywood,
question.
started
Oh,
working in
well, I figured
entertainment,
that one out.
and
There's my trailer.
did that for about like 6 or 7 years. Then started working on a TV show called SEAL Team, and I've been working
Take
in
job.
front and behind camera on that for
I kind of figured.
oh god, I don't want to think of how long, like 6 years.
They have a really good supervisor if they're using you as the guy to do it. So, what color was your little patches on your
Yeah,
shoulder?
well,
what
that's
color were they?
so the best part of that, working. I was the advisor for so long, and I said in the very beginning, I can advise on anything, unless it involves boats and or water. I'm like, if it has to do with water, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm telling you right now. And then every time something would come up boat-wise,
Okay.
they're like, Tyler, how
Well,
do you do this?
let's
I'm
get
like,
this
"I have no
party
idea.
started,
I
shall
told
we?
you, I don't do boats. I don't do
Navy
swimming.
SEAL stuff.
I don't do SEAL stuff. Yeah, so
You're playing a SEAL and you're like, no.
well, people always ask me why I wasn't a SEAL. I'm like, oh, simple. I can't swim. And they're like, no, really? No, I can't swim because I do not float even a little bit. I'll jump in water and sink right to the bottom. Well, not to the bottom, but my head will not be above water to breathe, which apparently is important to float.
You might need that.
Yeah. But no, I've never. Yeah, that's.
What was your when? So when did you join?
Joined in '97.
Off we go for this long journey.
And then when was the accident?
05.
And then what was the accident?
I got blown up in Iraq.
Dang, Skippy. Where in Iraq?
Solder City.
No shit. Okay.
Only the nice places. Only the nice places.
One time I was
There
at
we
this
go.
air base
Cruise
and the
control,
Wi-Fi went
off
out.
we
It's
can
kinda the
go.
same thing.
Well, hopefully the next one turns before I get there.
My
That's not
Wi-Fi
going
went
to.
out. You want to know PTSD?
Scratch my head.
The
You
power
get
went out
myself
the
on my
gym, I
brakes.
couldn't lift. It was awful, man.
The networking system that connected the Xbox went down, and we could only play one player.
But you were the knife with the red.
Nope.
I had a.
I'll have to look at my mirrors.
You had a problem. I'm assuming all of us looked up to you, especially during that time frame. Where you were like the upper echelon is what I was like, those guys are so cool. Look, they don't have name tapes.
So here's the funny part about that is,
And there we go.
when I was
Cruise
in Ranger
control's back
Battalion,
on. I have a car
that's
behind me,
when I
but that is
saw
okay.
the unit, I was like,
Oh, 320 kilometers to
oh
go.
my god, these guys are like gods.
Oh, sorry.
right? And then you're there.
Put my
one
foot
day,
into her a little
and
bit.
You see
Meow.
some Rangers looking at you that way, and you're like, oh my god, they don't know I still suck. You know what I mean? Like, they think I'm cool, and you go through all that training.
None of this goes straight,
over
correct?
here,
Except
all this
for
stuff.
everyone.
Then you get to a team, and you
Okay,
think
good.
you're hot shit because you've literally been doing everything every day for a year, and then you get to the team and you realize that everyone is leaps and bounds better than you, and you suck. So it's an interesting.
So it's a reset almost. Because
I'm
I
just
know
going to
it's the
cruise
strangest
down
thing.
this
if
because
you
someone
wanna
tells
know
me I'm going to start
Ranger
getting
Bat,
some
it
speed in a
was
bit.
the funniest shit is watching my buddy Campbell when he got to Ranger Bat, and I seen him at like Best Buy, and I remember running. I was like, bro, I haven't seen you in so long. I was like, what? Where are you? You're supposed to go like 80 seconds. He's like, I'm a second bat. I was like, oh fuck yeah, how is it? They fucking hate me, Eli. I think they want to kill me.
Oh, was he an import?
Yeah, he just got brand new private, just put into it. He like passed and then he tried out for RIP at the time.
Yeah.
Got accepted.
There we go.
Right there, and he's like,
And off we can cruise to the
that's absolutely
destination.
dude, they
It's gonna be a
shit
longer
on
trip.
you until you have like
Oh.
a scroll and a tab.
Yep.
You're just dog shit.
Yeah, but so I think that's awesome, and the reason is no, it
Amazing.
you got to start from the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You got to start from the bottom. You got to be treated like shit in order to, you know, keep that humility on. No matter
So
how
I'm supposed
cool
to be
what you're
there
doing is
at
cool.
4:40
like, you
in the
have to
morning.
realize that
Not too bad.
you're still just freaking part of the machine, you know. And I loved having that basis as an infantry
Bye, dude.
soldier, because all combat CQB is a great example of everyone's like, oh, CQB's this, blah blah blah. No, it's not. CQB, I define.
I really wonder if I should
as,
turn up traffic density or not.
It's infantry combat in a confined space under extreme conditions. That's my name I made for it. But it's like, that's what it is. It's just infantry
I also
combat.
really want to take
Just
off
because you're indoors in a
the cops
tight
so that I can
environment
actually
doesn't
go to
take away the
town.
principles. So if you don't have a
I mean, this
basis
is
in
kind of
these
sad that
principles,
everybody's passing
you're
me,
not gonna
man.
be, you know, good at the cool guy stuff if you don't know how to do basic infantry stuff.
That's fucking crazy. I can't even imagine how many rounds you did. Like, how many rounds would you shoot on a typical, like, shoot house or training exercise?
Well,
Compared to...
so when I'm not talking about training, but when I was out of training, I would shoot a case a day, 1,000 rounds a day.
You know what? Fuck it. Give me a sec, you guys. I'm gonna technically cheat
That's
this.
more
Grab it.
trigger time than
Like,
my entire
grab
I'm
a
gonna go a
case
bit
and-
faster,
and go
so-
shoot it. And the thing is,
Let me go here.
What the fuck? Because reading stories, there's I forget who wrote the first book about, like,
Eric Haney.
like, and it's like everyone had a callus, and that's how you
Anything
knew, like,
else
for
I could
pistol training
change?
and firing. It's like where the callus was. I don't know if that's true now.
Well,
to this day.
yeah, it's a little bit
This is like
different.
80s or 90s.
No, he was late 70s actually.
Oh, no shit,
Yeah,
okay.
he went through in 77. The
Is
whole
there anything that
that's a
make
funny
you go
story.
faster?
So very quick
No.
shout out to him. So I get out of as soon as I get out, I am like, okay, I want to go work in Hollywood. So I like looked up his contact information and called his like manager and was like, hey, I'd like to meet with Eric, have lunch with him, whatever. And he at the time was executive producer of the unit
No shit.
of the
Okay.
show that was on at that time.
Well, that should
so
work.
I go and
Now
have
we can
lunch
just
with
kinda
him, and I
Take off the
didn't
cruise
have a
control
basis
and
for understanding at that time how good his advice was. You know, what did I know? Nothing. But he really gave me some good advice. But what's funny is that show was on CBS. SEAL Team, however many years later, was on CBS. So it's just a funny, you know, like I'm having this conversation with him, and I guarantee what's going to happen is somebody's going to, like, somebody I've had lunch with or whatever, in 5 years is going to be on some show, you know. That
There
I
we go.
tried
Now we
to
can kind of just sit
give
here.
them
I mean,
advice that they
we're still gonna
probably
get
didn't
past,
realize
but
was good at the time. Just like
and
I
definitely
didn't
gonna be
realize
faster.
Eric's advice was good at the time. But yeah, it's everything I see in the military specifically, to me, it's just like a cycle, and it's like we're all on the same cycle, just at different timelines. Or that's how I.
I wish I had more gears though. But that's okay.
God damn it! This is my. Look at everyone.
I was like, I haven't heard you say a word in like 20 minutes, man.
I know.
Let's check in on the
I know.
home
We're
side of the
checking
table.
in over at Nick over there.
Cruising down the highway,
season, but you don't want to scare people with your scraggly beard.
Don't make it hot.
Today, we are brought to you by
I don't know what the hot
Manscaped.com,
dog does.
who has taken a step from the ball of wieners to bring your face the cleanest shave it has ever seen, brother. So this season, there's no toil or trouble. It's just Manscaped. Manscaped's all-new Handyman is the best way to get rid of
I'm
that
gonna turn
stubble.
the cruise control. Let's put my foot down.
Compact design and skin-safe technology. It was designed to be
I'm not sure if I'm at 110.
without traditional technology. Disadvantages.
This may also end up
Get
bad
the
in a corner.
sweetest treat this season by
be
going
prepared
to
to toss it out to me,
manscaped.com
guys.
and using code UNSUB to save 20% and free shipping.
And for my wolf man out there, there's the Manscaped Beard Hedger Pro Kit. It has everything.
Oh, okay. It's not as sharp of a corner as I thought it would be.
Ding! That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com using code UNSUB. For a look sweet as candy, get yourself a handyman from manscaped.com.
What does the Pogue side of the table say?
God, I don't know. What do you want to know?
Fucking McDonald's and Ali Salim was rough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We started with nukes. Let's get back to the
Yeah, I was like,
nukes.
this is escalating.
You can't go bigger than nukes.
No, Nick Scott, I want to know what story you're working on next. We'll give it. I want to hear your fucking IT
I
story.
just filmed a video on the Berlin airlift, and then now I'm working on the Berlin wall.
What you were saying is fucking crazy.
When you say story, I want context. Like, what do you?
I got you. No, your story on like.
No.
I wonder how many of these guys
Oh,
are actually
yeah, yeah.
slower. I'm going to turn my brights up though.
No, that's why.
So
I mean, I'm
Nick is
definitely
kind of
going
a
a lot
historian.
faster than I should be
The
for
fat
here.
electrician is, bro, you're a historian. You shit. Now he's in college shitting on people. and argue.
But you're basically telling this like a story of something that actually
I read
happened.
all the shit historians wrote down, and then I actually make it entertaining so people will learn it.
Dude, that's awesome.
that's,
No, that's-
kind
that's-
of my goal.
There goes
That's
Semi.
awesome. That's-
Off I go
that's
this
Have you been
way.
to Ludendorff Bridge? We talked about that last time I was here, and you should really.
Not yet.
Because I can't articulate that the way you did it.
Much
That was,
gas,
that
man.
was like
I'm
a
not
defense
so good
coup
now,
de
gas.
grace.
That's pretty good.
That was phenomenal. Oh man, I hope you get that.
If you want crazy stories, like Nick, he's probably working on one, right? Oh, as you're saying, like the Berlin Wall, I want to hear that if you can give a teaser.
I wish I
But
had
Nick,
more
dives
gears and a lower
a
rear
lot
gear
of
to
soldier
do
ones,
this.
which is like, what's your favorite story you've done with
I like McNasty personally.
Jake McNasty?
Jake McNasty McNeese. He's a paratrooper from. Have you ever seen like that old World War II footage of the dude right on D-Day getting ready and he's
World War II.
painting him?
Yeah,
and these
yeah,
guys
yeah.
like-
With the-
That's Jake McNasty.
With the mohawk?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I know
Jake
this story.
McNasty, and that dude, he was a fuck up all through. He didn't have to go to World War II because he was a firefighter, and he's like, I want to go fight anyways.
Oh,
So
okay,
then
I
he
think it was
went
just a chopper car.
to some small town in Ponca City, Oklahoma,
Staying my lane.
and just like went and beat the fucking shit out of his high school bully, like almost to death, and then went and joined the military the next day so he didn't get in trouble for it. I think it was just a huge fuck up all through training, always got in trouble, beat up a couple MPs multiple times.
Sorry, dude.
And he was such a fuck
I'm
up.
gonna
he
catch
stuck
that
to
semi
his own
before you
thing
forward
by
past me.
himself.
You go around me the other
Sounds
way.
like the dream.
Yeah.
That
so,
works.
then they like just keep giving him more fuck ups, and then he just like builds this platoon that ends up being the Filthy 13. This platoon of fuck ups, and they're all combat engineers, and they're all super badass at their jobs. They're just not controllable.
It's like the
And
Dirty Dozen.
Well, that's what it's
Oh,
based
for fuck's
off of.
sake.
The
I
Dirty
hate it when the
Dozen
game does
is
this.
Oh, it's
Come on,
based off
start me
of
back.
the story.
and off of the Filthy 13.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, so they dropped him in on D-Day, and
Fuck's
those
sake.
guys were
I hate
supposed
when
to
that
go
happens, man.
hold this bridge that was going
It's
to
all because my controller sticks. Well, that's okay.
reinforce Utah Beach, and he loses all of his guys, and it's just him. And he starts picking up stragglers, like amasses 40 dudes, takes them to this bridge, and they hold it for like 3 days. Reinforcements never show up, and then bunch of P-51 Mustangs come in, blow up the bridge because they figured that he was dead and that he didn't get it and hold it, so they were going to get rid of the bridge altogether. So now he's just defending this
I mean, if I was driving heavy loads, I would be a little bit more
river
responsible
thing on
than
one
this
side.
one. Delivering
and
like
an entire
8 tons worth of
battalion
cars.
SS
Like, come on.
Germans showed up and told him to move, and he said no. And him and 38 random paratroopers took out an entire SS battalion. And then he jumped in on Operation Market Garden, cleared out Eindhoven and the entire town. Him and his guys did that. And then he's
while saving 5 eggs.
while saving 5 eggs, yeah. He's going through Eindhoven, right? And he talks about how they didn't have CQB like you guys did today. He's like, yeah, we just throw in a frag grenade and then
Is
crawl in
this
on our hands
chopper
and
car
knees
gonna
with a
get up to
Tommy gun
speed?
because the
Hoping
buildings
so.
had so much dust and shit on them you couldn't see. So they cleared a whole city that way, and he goes into this furniture making factory and he finds a chicken. This chicken laid 6 eggs. You can't get fucking eggs on the front line in World War II, so he's like, I'm taking these fucking eggs. So he sticks them in his cargo pockets. He's trying not to break the eggs while he's clearing rooms. They make it all the way through the city, and then they're like, cool, we're done. And then a fucking bunch of German tanks roll out of the wood line, and they're like, fuck. So they go and they got to take out like 6 German tanks. He ends up breaking one of the eggs. He saves the other 5. From there, he's like, from there he falls back to France, and he gets put on 72 hours of leave, and he's like, fuck it, I'm going to Paris to get booze. His officer tries to stop him. He's like, you have 72 hours leave. It's a 4-day trip to get to Paris. And he's really thinking 72 hours you're going to get to Paris, have a bender, and get back. And he's like, I don't know, but I'm willing to try. So he goes AWOL for like 19 days, gets hammered, gets fucking arrested. They bring him back, and his chain of command's like, hey, we want you to be a Pathfinder. And in World War II, a Pathfinder had a 80% attrition
I wonder
rate
if
for
I
one
could have
mission.
the semi come before my turn.
Every
Come on.
mission they drop Pathfinders in on, they needed
Oh,
2
yeah, I'll clear
Pathfinders
them.
and 1 set of gear. They would drop 10 Pathfinders and 2 sets of gear, just because that's what it took to give the mission a chance, because that many people died.
That's insane to
And-
think you're signing up for that.
But it was voluntary basis only, so they couldn't make him do it, but they told him they wanted to. And he's like, they just wanted to get me killed. They didn't want to deal with me anymore. So he's like, but, hear me out, Pathfinder school is in, I forget the town in England, but it's where, what's the Ivy League college in England?
Oxford?
Oxford.
Yeah.
It's the same town that Oxford was in, and all the boys were off fighting a war. So Oxford was just full of college chicks.
Oh my god.
And-
This guy's a genius.
Dude, in his book, he's like he's an 80-year-old man, and he's like, it was a
Crash the
mighty
trailer
fine
slightly.
opportunity to
Oh, well.
get some postgraduate work in. Is what he fucking said. So he goes.
Everyone's playing checkers. This guy's playing chess.
So he goes. He's banging all these
Come
Oxford
on,
chicks.
Mike.
He's going to Pathfinder
John
school. He
Mentor.
ends up graduating top of his class, and he like assembles this dream team because they put him in charge again. And
This is it. He's getting paid as
In the
an
left lane.
E8.
yeah,
From the looks of it.
he's an acting E8 getting paid as an E2. That was another part of the story.
Well,
Paratroopers.
that's bullshit.
Paratroopers in World War II, because he was 101st, they all got bumped up to PFC after 30 days of training, just to try to get these guys money because they're jumping into fucking Normandy. He was such a fuck up. He was the only guy that they kept in E2 the entire time. So he goes, he gets his Pathfinder certification.
my brakes,
He
my
thinks
brakes.
the war's over, and then there's like, oh, shit, Battle of the Bulge happens, and the 101st is surrounded by a bunch of Nazis, and they need Pathfinders to jump in and call in supply drops. And they send in him and his team, and they end up getting all these supply drops sent in. It was a shit ton of supply drops they called in, and ended up like being a huge part of why
security
the
check,
Battle of
that's
the
fine.
Bulge saved the 101st Airborne, his unit that was trying to get him killed. And then he did one more jump in, not Prague, it's a name like that. One more combat jump. He did 4 combat jumps in World War II, and then he ends up with his unit going and taking over. Fuck, not Rommel. Who's the other head Nazi guy?
Oh.
It's like the right-hand man. of
No,
Hitler.
I know who you're talking
The
about.
political version. not-
Heinrich Himmler.
Heinrich Himmler.
Yeah, Heinrich Himmler.
He ends up. They end up going to Heinrich Himmler's
There we
fucking
go.
castle,
Yes, we're
where all
gonna
the
spend
art and
extra
shit got
parkage.
taken. Well, apparently
Oh,
Heinrich
for
Himmler was a
course.
huge fan of horses, right? So he had like all the thoroughbred, like the top racing horses from every fucking country the Nazis had taken over and had them sent to his castle. Now the 101st guys are just getting fucking hammered, riding them around town, just doing dumb shit.
God
So
bless
then
America.
the 100.
This has to fall over. Okay, yeah.
101st is fucking sitting there dicking off with, fancy art, ancient fucking wine from the bottoms of castles and shit, just get hammered riding $1 million horses. And they're like, fuck it, let's go into town and put on a rodeo for all the Germans. So that's what they did. They're putting on a rodeo with all these fucking horses. Nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. Like, a couple horses, they died. I didn't put that in my video because that was mean. But, like, they're riding some of these fucking horses to
I
death
knew
and
there's a
all
couple
kinds of
issues
dumb
with
shit.
that.
So then he...
Pull the further
I love,
down here. And then
just
try
for
this again.
reference, Evan just told the story last week's episode about when they were taking the Saddam Hussein's kids, was it
Oh.
Hussein? They were going to those castles and taking those, and then they'd get to it and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, they got Formula One cars and Ferraris. You want to go rip in them?" And they would just be ripping. The SF guys would be just ripping around in Formula One cars in Baghdad. I'm like, it's exactly the same
fucking
thing.
hilarious.
Nothing changes.
So at the rodeo, he meets this girl. I think her name was Emma. I forget her last name. But he meets this girl. They end up hooking up and dating for the rest of the time he's in country. Well, this girl is the daughter of the Hitler for Youth chapter of that town. Basically, literally found the closest thing he could to a Nazi princess and fucks her the rest of the time he's in Germany.
Hey, this guy's batting 1,000. You know what I mean?
Then he goes back home and fucking becomes a mailman and just fucking
But how
retires.
how do you become a mailman? Obviously, he probably did it to keep his federal retirement, I'm assuming.
No. So when he first came back, because he was such a huge fuck up, he had part of his ear got blown off in one of his missions.
There we go.
And they sent him to get like
Let's
plastic
go get
surgery.
gas.
Apparently, it was like hanging. So they wanted to get it like reattached,
I
and
didn't
they
get
sent
enough
him to
of the
some
love.
base stateside after the war. And he showed up to the base,
Okay.
and he had an issue with the MPs.
We'll go to drive
and he
for the
told
moment.
the head
I gotta go
MP on
for
the base
gas.
that he was going to kick his fucking ass.
So,
And that guy said, whatever, get your treatment, leave. Don't ever come back if I see you. We're going to have a problem.
Wait, does
And
that
he's like, no,
work in the other view?
you're going to have a problem because if I ever come back to this
Yeah,
shithole
rumble.
town, I'm going to be a civilian and I'm going to beat the fuck out of you. And they chaptered him out right there on the spot, kicked him out, and then he tried to go
does.
and be a smoke jumper, a wildlife firefighter,
Okay.
where they
So look
jump
at
out of
my
the
map
fucking
here.
planes,
You can
and they're
find
like, "No, you're
gas.
25, you're too old." He's like, "Dude, I got 4 fucking combat jumps in World War II." They're like, "Nah, not interested."
Let's
So
look
worked in
down there.
construction for a little while, had alcohol problems, got over
What?
those.
What?
then became a mailman.
What? It's like it's a
I sleep
reoccurring
over here,
thing.
but there's no gas.
I mean, I just feel like the perfect end
Someone
of that
tells me this is
story
probably
would
my
be
best bet.
he becomes a
over here.
middleman, and then he goes
Okay.
post.
Off we go. Again.
What?
God damn it.
He's the one with the dad
All the
jokes.
stories bleed into themselves.
Well, what's crazy is getting hit up post, and it was people like, "Holy shit, that was my mailman." I did not realize
That was cool shit. I was getting emails and there's comments in that video like, Mr. McNeese was my mailman my entire childhood. I had no idea that my mailman was like this fucking badass.
That's crazy. You know, I mean, there's a serious thing about this though, which is that type of person is just not tolerated in the military anymore, and I think there's a real problem with that.
I don't
what
think they ever are though. Like I don't think they ever are until like shit hits the fan and they're like, okay, well now we're gonna loosen up restrictions and allow it until we get shit under control and then we're gonna kick everybody out.
You're right.
When I came in 2009, granted this is after your time and maybe your time, I don't know. It's fucking
Nick's
anyways.
young.
Yeah.
Y'all are young bucks. It sucks.
I had a 9-year PFC. This guy named
Holy
Satter,
shit.
I think was his name. We called him Big Bird. He was like 6 foot 1,000, fucking. But he's a really good mechanic, and like he just didn't give a fuck about the rules, and he would like get drunk at work. Really, really, really good at his job. So like they never kicked him out, but he'd had like 7 Article 15s, and he was a 9-year PFC. The dude just like work his ass off, and then just in like 17:30, they'd be like, "We need this done." He was like, "Go fuck yourself," and he just roll out. Like this dude was just a legend. I love Satter, man. Great people. But
You
just
know
like you
what's
said,
like, hey
they're
guys,
not
like
really,
all that how
even
dark it
now,
gets.
they're
Holy
not
crap.
accepted and really haven't ever been accepted because they're just on the fringe.
Jeez, I can't imagine being a decade in a job and you're like, cleared to $1,800 this month. Popping those knuckles, like, bro.
But on the positive side, I make so few dollars that I don't pay any taxes.
I'm winning, actually.
I'm making under 24,000 a year or whatever the number is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I do. Just dig up history.
That's awesome.
And he's so good at delivering it.
Oh yeah.
I was here for it. I was just like,
Well, I mean, what I work in right now literally is storytelling, and you are a great storyteller, and that's but
Come on,
but
game.
what you said, I think, is very important, which is taking information that's out there and maybe no one really, it's not common knowledge, and then turning it into something entertaining enough, as you stated, that is also teaching people. And I don't think there's enough people doing that
I
nowadays.
just want to take this
Like
corner.
film used to do that, and now it's just like
Now they
freaking.
fuck up
Now we're
Napoleon.
just changing the direction of a torpedo on ice.
was that fucked up? I haven't heard anything about the new Napoleon.
I'm
I just
so
heard,
fucking mad about that movie. It's
I read the reviews. I haven't seen it yet,
it's
but when I read the
worst
reviews, I
movie
was
I've
a
seen in
little.
my life.
Damn.
So, I think there's a couple directors that have Final Cut now, and then you see like the side effect when no one tells you no.
That's what I've said.
I mean, that's what it has to be.
I appreciate it. You've seen that side. You've seen
And
Ridley
this
Scott
way,
is an
I had me go
amazing
up to
director,
100.
without a doubt. But it's a
Executives.
you need feedback from everyone to keep it tight storytelling.
Hey, kind of like what you said, like nobody tells them no. I think directors think that like their version or like I feel like they think they're the main course meal, and it's like no, you're seasoning. Like you need to make it taste good, but like the story needs to
No.
be its own fucking thing. And they're like, no, this is my artistic interpretation of reality. It's like no,
I meant to turn
that's
those
dog
on.
shit
There we go.
because I can tell you didn't
But
read the
we're coming to
fucking
the
book
rest
at
off. I'm
all.
going to park.
And like the entire fucking Napoleon movie, dude, they show like 2 battles. They're
Okay.
literally, it's like, hey, the
Everything's
French
to itself,
Revolution happened.
very, very
Fast
quickly.
forward
That's
10
okay.
years. Napoleon's into some weird sex shit. This one battle happened. Napoleon's back into some weird sex shit. His wife cheats on him. And they like 80% of the movie is about Napoleon's sex life, and 5% of it's about war.
Which is he's known for as his immaculate. Like,
I mean, he was at war a lot more than he was getting fucking business.
Dude,
what
those
I'm saying.
battles, like Napoleon's battles, if you haven't read those, that's like his first claim to fame is when it was that rebellion. It was like 10,000 or 2,000, and he had like 200 dudes.
Yeah,
And
he's a
he
genius.
Lost 0 people, literally 0 people, and killed 2,000 or 3,000 people. It's fucking ridiculous.
There
And
we
they're
go,
like,
turn her off.
yo, this dude what
to
the
the rest
fuck?
stop.
Because he switched battle tactics. That was his thing. It was
Alrighty.
not traditional battle
That's why I've lost a
tactics.
little bit of money for the moment.
He relied
Knew how to
heavily
I don't
on
know what time's
artillery
gonna
and
change.
He knew
stuff.
how to ambush.
I'm gonna go throw a
and
couple
he knew
hot
how to
dogs in. I'll be right
capitalize
back,
on
you
that. So
guys.
if you get word of what's going on, like a rebellion,
I'm also
you just
hoping that I
fucking
remember
relay
Tommy.
Like I was looking into what was it? Genghis Khan, right? In almost every battle he fought,
dog.
he was outnumbered in almost every single one. But like the way
Did
he
not
would
mean to
use
slam me
his
against the
troops,
wall.
like
I
his
overthought where I was
archers
going.
would ride
You
forward on
okay?
horses. Of course, I'm paraphrasing here.
Sorry, did not
And
mean to
as they
smack
got
you
to the
into a
front of the
wall.
line, they would notch and fire their arrow and then turn back, and then they would just notch again, and it was like a constant just hail of arrows from the front of his formation. I was like, that's fucking wild. Like you made automatic arrow guns in what was that, 1300s, 1200s, or something like that.
that dude did not fuck around. He
No.
was my favorite warlords.
On my list of favorite warlords, did I'm pretty sure this is Napoleon. Obviously, you've forgotten more about this than I know. But wasn't it Napoleon who made maybe not made up the concept, but really reinforced the concept of awards, valorous awards? That's what I was.
And then right after I'm done
I know
this,
it
I know it.
I'm gonna find myself a tiny little something really good to have. I'm gonna proceed down.
1775 and later.
That's fair.
Well, I think it's that. I think again, it's been a while, but I think the quote was something to the effect of, obviously translated from French, but it was like, "It's amazing what soldiers will do for a piece of metal on their chest."
Well, I know, like his
that's
men
nothing
fucking
I'm not
loved him.
around.
Like that's one thing they did get right in the movie is like hit the French
Turn on
military
this side.
love
to that.
Napoleon as a leader. So
That
like
dude was on
hopefully
the front
best.
line.
it wouldn't
Okay.
surprise me if that was
Small smoke, and then
And
we'll
so any great
go on to
leader
my
is
next
always
load.
like,
Yeah,
these
I mean,
dudes were at the front line.
You're right. It would make sense that he developed that system to reward his troops.
'cause, I mean, the
Very
dude got
small.
exiled
That
and
will have to
literally
do.
just
Thank
showed
you.
back up, and they
That's
sent
okay.
the military to stop him, and they're like,
Okay, we'll quickly go
"Nah,
have
we're
this.
just gonna join him."
Well, we'll have this.
It was like straight up.
And
The
then
guy just he's,
we'll get to the
he's
next
really,
world. After the
he
next
just doesn't
world,
listen to
bring
reason.
this
It's just
in.
easier for us all
So I
to
can go
join.
find
Wasn't
smokes.
he the one quoted saying
A hot dog.
like winners study
And then,
logistics and losers
you know, if
study
I'm feeling
like
up to
battle
maybe
or
we'll
something
be
like
up
that?
for
Or
part
something.
2 and I get
He
back.
brought up like logistics was a huge part of battle. Wasn't that Napoleon?
That one, I don't
wouldn't
know.
surprise
It
me.
makes a lot of sense.
I think that was Schwarzkopf.
Might have been.
Bro, Schwarzkopf is shit.
He's a fucking
He's
shit.
my favorite. It's the best military mind ever. That's my take.
I'm gonna have to learn more about him because I know fucking Jack.
That's yeah.
Yeah, he's that good.
I said it as a joke. Yeah. I knew enough to say it as a joke.
America's logistics infrastructure is just like. Have you ever? So we've had to like have our finger on
We're
the.
gonna be starting. I need to get us.
Come on, stay with me, stay with me.
I love Nick just like.
I'm telling you, like,
did I just Schwarzkopf trigger him?
You might have.
Oh yeah, shit.
But like
My bad.
for us in air defense, we have to have pretty much our finger on the pulse of logistics, and when we need something, it's like a strategic asset. Like
It's
it's
fucking cold out here.
they will move the sun and earth to get you what you need. And I shit you not, there's been a one single circuit card. A single weighs like 5 pounds, costs $1 million, by the way. That's how much a circuit card costs. And they chartered an entire C-17 from the United States, where I was at, in an undisclosed location in Southwest Asia. Honestly, you can go on vacation there. It's not a cool guy place. But we just have to stay there for political reasons.
Alrighty. Let's get off to the races here.
28,000 gallons of fuel in a
Let me
C-17
talk to my
to
next
bring us
destination for
one
finding
card.
a job
And they did
for
it
the
like,
truck.
like
That's the military. Get everyone on board.
You want insurance?
Okay. Take a sip of my coffee while I find a job.
Oh my God! Do you want the best sleep in the world? You know. Well,
Also, for
I
record,
can
no, I'm not
tell
racist
you
before
the
people think it.
greatest bed and mattress product in the world. It is from ghostbed.com. You know. Today
I
we
would
are
so take that,
talking
but I
to
doubt
myself
I'll get very
and
far.
Mexican version of myself
How far is
to
this
talk
going?
about the great deals at ghostbed.com. Every mattress has
What's it going to change
20-year
for?
warranty. You can try out for 101 night. If you don't like it, send it back. No hard
Fuck it.
feelings. And you
I'm going
wanna
to
be
attempt it with the
best
truck.
parts of the Ghost
I'm going
Bed
to
is
attempt
the
it.
cooling technology, senor.
We're gonna
I know
hope for the
what you're
best.
thinking.
Probably a very, very bad idea.
Because if you're like me and you're in Texas, the nights are hot and you need the cooling technology. See, Ghostbed also offers all the bundles. See, you don't even really have to think about it, senor. Just choose from
Oh, geez,
four
I got
of
a
their
long ways to go.
mattresses and you got a bundle, senor. So whether you need the mattress or the frame or you want it all, like the cooling pillows or the sheets, you can get the best bang for your buck. That's right,
I
right
need to check
now.
how much
If
time
you
do I have
use
for that job.
unsubscribe at
So that I do need to check.
ghostbed.com/unsubscribe, you get 50% off everything.
Oh, for
Everyone
express is
loves
15.
discount
Okay,
to
so
that
I'll have time to
value.
make it if I put my
So
foot down.
very big.
We'll make it.
That is how. Go buy the best bed you can with ghostbed.com. Actually, on a serious note, all of us use Ghostbed now. It is all the rooms here at Unsub, my bedroom, the pillows, the sheets, everything is Ghostbed. You spend 30% of your life in a bed. Upgrade your stuff and save 50% while doing it. Go check them out. They're a
Off we
fantastic
go.
company. And we support them.
Hopefully doing 110 makes this easier for me.
50%.
Card for the military? Done.
The
You want
video I
insurance?
just did, fucking Berlin airlift. Do you know about this?
I very little.
Oh God. Okay, so right after World War II, right? Soviets still like allies,
We
right?
need more free
But Germany gets split up
experiences, we
into
can
4
all
separate
run.
quadrants. America, French, Britain, and the USSR all own a chunk of Germany, right? And then Berlin, the capital of Germany, also same thing. Everybody owns a chunk, but Berlin is 100 miles into USSR territory. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so America pisses off the USSR, vice versa, whatever. Basically, capitalism's winning and communism is getting fucking butthurt about it.
As usual.
So communism is like, you know what? No, we're gonna blockade off West Berlin. So
Oh,
they
fuck's
block it
sake.
off so that we can't get anything in. They cut off all the roads, all the railroads, all the waterways, everything. And at that point, they go to Truman and they're like, okay, 3 options. We can roll in tanks and start World War III. We can abandon West Berlin and let them either starve to death or join communism.
Jeez, I'm doing
Or
120 and these guys are still
we can
passing
try
me.
to fly shit in on cargo planes. And he's like, quote, we stay in Berlin, period. And America, this isn't a real quote, but basically like, America doesn't start world wars, we just finish them. So, we're fucking flying shit in on planes, right? So, they have no idea how to do this, so they go to the British because they've been experts in rationing for the last 10 years fighting World War II. The British run the numbers, and they're like, you need, everybody in West Berlin is going to eat 1,700 calories a day, which is going to be
Just because I don't want to turn
1,500
off while I'm on the highway.
of food per day. And then the Germans, or the USSR cut off the power to West Berlin too, so they're going to need coal
I'm getting over in this
fuel.
line,
That's
I don't
gonna
have
be
the chance.
2,500 tons per day.
Do you come
Right,
up
so
behind me and
you've
go
got
around me?
4,500
Oh,
tons
I think I hear my hot
a
dogs.
day through cargo plane, and this time they had the P-47, which could only carry 3 tons. Like, this is impossible. So that, like, to make that work,
Dude,
that's
please speed up. That's in the middle lane, please.
133 planes per day. There's 1,440 minutes
Okay,
in a
good.
day. Like, it's impossible, right? So they just start doing it. It's complete fucking chaos. They're sending planes from everywhere. There's fucking mid-air collisions as they're trying
Oh,
to get
shit.
planes into this fucking country for food, or into West Berlin for food. And then they bring in General William Tunner, and this was a guy in World War II that was in charge
I have
of
to remember some of
logistics
the breaks
for
like that.
bringing
Doesn't
in
make that easy on
all
me.
the supplies
Just
into China over the
oops.
Himalayas. And he comes in and unfucks the whole situation in like
Let's get up here.
days.
Hopefully it's
With
not a
7
car.
Anyways,
Sweet.
America,
now that we're going
there's,
this way, I
3
need to go
air
check my hot
channels
dogs.
into
I'm
Berlin.
also going to get
He's
myself
like,
a new
okay,
level and
2 of
maybe
them
check
on
them
the
out.
outside are going
Better
in.
job
The one in the
after.
middle is planes coming out. We're
Career
going to launch 1
skills.
plane from the 2 going there every 3 minutes. They're all going to fly
Something
at
like this.
5
Not really
altitudes, and they're going to
Apply.
stagger every way. So it's plane,
What do I
plane,
have for an
plane,
email?
plane, 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 all day long, 3 minutes, new fucking plane in the air. All
Yes, I
day,
know.
every day, 24 hours a fucking day. The West Berliners are like, dope. They get it down to where they can empty 3 tons off a plane in 7 minutes and turn that bitch around and send it back.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be
Luftwaffe
worthwhile money,
mechanics
but
that
I
were
have
just
to
fighting America
get a
2
truck
years
capable
ago.
of it, which means I need to
They're
level up.
repairing American cargo planes to send them back. And America does it. We end up developing fucking bigger planes. We end up developing the
There we go. Turn around and off we go
P-74
again.
Globemaster, which can carry 25 tons. So we end up fucking delivering, I think the record was 1,300 flights, delivering 13,000 tons in a single day. Over the course of 15 months, America had 277,000 planes
Off
get
we
sent up, spanning
continue to
92 million
assassination.
miles delivering 4.6 billion pounds of supplies, all by air. And the Soviet Union finally had to ditch the blockade because America put an embargo on their country, and their economy couldn't stand up to
Come on,
the
little dude,
embargo
pass me.
anymore, and they just couldn't wait it out.
So
So they had
eventually I'm
to
gonna cut
ditch
the
that.
tools, and
And
I'm
this
gonna
is
need
like
to
why
get
the
over to
Berlin
that
Wall
way.
ended up happening, is because they couldn't get West Berlin to crack, because America could land a plane in Berlin literally every fucking minute, all day, every day, and we did it for 15 months. And it is the biggest logistical flex of all time.
Oh man, you know
That's amazing. That is terrifying to me. It's awesome to see the power.
Come on,
in
little guy,
America, like,
pass me. Come on,
No.
please.
but also, yeah, exactly. When we say no, you're like, what the fuck?
like this is the thing though. So I got sent to Operation Afghan Welcome, which is okay. Afghanistan was kind of a shit show. There's some things that could have gone better. I'll
Don't know
agree
if he's
there.
gonna
But
turn.
like
No, he's going
on
straight.
the logistics side of the house, name another country
Yeah,
on
the
this
thing I
planet
said,
that can move
he's gonna turn over.
130,000 people 3,000 miles in a week. You're not going to find one. Like everyone else can flex as much as they want. No one has the logistics infrastructure to try and move that.
Oh my, it's terrifying.
So
Yeah,
with
but
all
college isn't free. It's like, God damn it.
with all that
I do
amazing
not know
stuff,
why you pulled over to my lane.
my
Then.
flight to get here.
Jeez. Phew.
You know what I mean? It's like, how can we do that? Yeah, it's like crazy. But that you see this all the time with like certain. World War II is just a great example of these just unbelievable feats. And then you look at how certain things are run.
Geez, just
today,
like in real
How
life.
did we lose that? It's like we're the ancient Egypt of ourselves. You know what I mean? You're
What the
like,
fuck happened 80 years ago?
you know what I mean? You're like,
We're doing pretty good. We'll deal with it
we
a little
didn't
bit.
figure that out. Like, you guys
Fucking aliens,
did you
man.
throw away the book on it? You know what I mean? Like, you know, yeah, it's like, but all this stuff, you're just like, how did we lose that ability? You know, because there's just so many
It's the government.
astounding feats of not just logistics, but
I'm getting this one. I'll have the
amazing shit.
chance.
But it's the same thing though that we're talking about with like those troops aren't tolerated today. It's like
See, if I was
literally,
driving that little
whenever
like
the
car, I would
government
have
has
been
time to
downshift
get
and
in
ready.
and fuck it
Wait
up,
for
they fuck
as
it
this
up.
one starts coming
Yeah.
up.
That's why.
Simon
So
just.
the Schwarzkopf we were talking about, right? Like he served.
I mean,
in
yes, there's a
Vietnam,
truck doing
and he
120
almost got
at the
out
same time.
after Vietnam as like a lieutenant colonel because he blamed politicians for losing Vietnam or whatever, which I'll argue. till
How
the time
about
we
I
did.
become
But-
one of those?
Yeah.
So, what like that's a big part of why Desert Storm was so fast and so violent. It's like basically Schwarzkopf didn't want to give politicians time to fuck it up. Like by the time politicians could mentally comprehend what was
No, I
happening,
just soon
it
go
was
grab
over.
my hot dog.
When you watch that feat of how fast it was, like we're Kuwait and now we destroyed the entire Iraqi army in 3 days. How long was this?
I think combat was only like
It was short.
The air battle, like they.
That's what tells me I have an hour and
completely
52
dismantled
even going.
Air defenses, which was
Do
the most
120
heavily
an
fortified
hour.
air defended country on the planet.
This is the third, just for reference, this is the third most powerful military, or fourth, in the world
Fourth.
at that time.
Fourth, number one.
I'll take
in that
cruise off because
hemisphere.
I think I need the
Which
right
is
one to go left.
absolute insanity.
wasn't that the same? I was either Desert Storm. I want to say it was Desert Storm before 2003 when the F-16. There was an F-16 pilot, boss of a fucking dude, evaded 6 surface-to-air missiles and 0 countermeasures were used because they weren't functioning on his plane. he thought he was using them, but he was just wild weaseling. Like, he was the greased up
Oh,
deaf guy
fuck
in the
me.
sky.
That's my own fault. I was trying to downshift. Bad idea.
God, bro.
It's like the real Maverick.
Bro,
Well, at least
they
it's my
couldn't
truck.
Fucking touch it. And yeah, like the F-16, so the crazy thing about the F-16, and I'm sure you've done your homework on this, is it's actually designed to be unstable. Like they built this thing like we want it to not fly straight. It has computers that constantly do micro adjustments to keep it level as it goes through the air because or else it'll crash.
Like the F-16 has programmed Tourette's.
it's-
Like it's intentionally
Okay.
vibrating in the air, so you
Just
can't
imagine
fucking
that
hit
at
it.
your first flight, you're like, hey, it's acting kind of weird. It's this shaky pulling thing.
Supposed to do
yeah,
that.
we made that on purpose.
If it stops doing that, tell us.
We've got a problem. No, that's a feature, homie.
But why? I want my, just straight. No.
No, we don't do that here.
If it's stable, call us immediately.
Report that. They come, they hit the
You
wing
need to
and
land
they
immediately.
slightly- There, it's better.
If it's
Go.
super stable, You might
Comes
want
off
to
the
eject.
top.
Yeah.
I love arguing with anti-America people in the comment
Just want two
section.
pieces.
Oh my god.
I'm not gonna go crazy with it.
F-16's not even that good of a plane. Fucking buh. It's like, really? Is that why every time America says they're going to sell some to other countries, every communist on the planet goes, fuck! Yeah, they must be a really bad plane.
Bro, I run into that with fucking air defense, man. Like, I was, the trolls in the comment section fucking, well, yes, 400 can see 400 kilometers. Like, cool, and it's getting fucking bodied by cardboard drones. But how's that Patriot system doing over there, motherfucker? Like, shut up.
You know, there's an interesting point with this, with what your guys
I need a
saying,
little bit of
and,
ketchup, and then I'll be
and I
back to
see it
driving the
happen
truck.
all the time. Is
There's the ketchup.
what makes our war machine what it is isn't the gear. It's the people
I
and the
think that
systems
I'm just doing
that have
this to
been
get the
developed
truck, and
to
I still have to
utilize
do
it.
the rest of this
You know
yet.
what I mean? I know
This
you
is gonna
guys
be
know
fun.
this, but it's like it doesn't matter. All the gear, the specifics, yeah, it's cool, and certain things are better than others. But it's like what I always tell people when it comes to like shooting.
Okay.
Gear is the least important, as you guys all know,
This is gonna be a culture
of the
for me
different
tonight,
things that
whether I
make it
like it or
important.
not.
You know, mindset, strategy, all those things. And we have such a system in place of supporting, coordinating air and ground, like all those systems that we built over all the previous wars experience. That's something that the other countries
go.
just don't have. Even if they had our gear, they don't have those systems and the people that have experience with those systems.
Every near peer is worried about like
Alrighty.
just the raw
You
stats.
almost set
Like,
myself
they
with
only
one.
care about outperforming the raw stats.
I need
Like,
to check one thing.
I just want a plane
And
that
then
can
I'll have a bite
outperform
of
the
my food, and then
F-22.
off we go again.
I don't need the entire network supporting it behind. That's what they don't think about
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
everything else.
Yeah.
We've been doing like America out of our 300 years of existence.
I did the math. I think it was 18 years.
18 years we have not done war. Out of 300 years,
Man, if only knew how
we
much I
have
just sit
not,
here and
or
wait for
almost
a
300
message from you.
Yeah, close.
Ish. Yeah.
Yeah. We have not done war. And this is statistical. Like, this is numbers. We have not done war for 18 years.
Anyways,
Out
back
of
off to work we go.
almost 300 years, 18 is like, we're doing peace now.
We're
And it's immediately like, we got to fucking kick ass.
Have you seen the stock price?
war?
Who's pissing us off?
Yeah, go! Our economy's crashing. World War III.
telling you, we are 50.
This video brought to you by Raytheon.
Raytheon and Lockheed Martin, your
We're
sponsors
50 war
today.
tribes in a trench coat with a defense budget big enough to fight God. That's the best way to look at us. Like, we're just.
Cruising down the
So
highway.
this is a true story. When I'll never forget this. I was, this Ranger Battalion at the time. This is early Afghanistan, 02. I was in Kandahar, and I was with a.
Come on, Mini Cooper.
You know, it's a little rocky. People were nice. Great vacation.
I'm willing to do the heavy load. This is probably going to be a bad idea, but I'm willing to do it.
The paras. So the paras, I'm sure you guys know, but if you don't know, the paras are like kind of the Ranger Battalion equivalent of the British military, for lack of a better term.
See, I've never worked with those guys. I work with like Afghan National Civil Ordnance Police, and
Same thing.
they smoked a whole lot of weed. Yeah, that's just,
Oh no, these are British.
Oh, okay,
British paras. Yeah, they don't smoke; they just drink a lot.
lucky bastards.
Yeah, and then no, we actually hung out with them. The first time we hung out with them, they all got drunk and then just started beating the shit out of each other. And we're like,
British people are fun.
My
Dude,
first
I
time
was
hanging out with the SAS over there, we had a mission. It was just real quick. It was like, hey, we got to track this dude with the tracker. We got
Yeah,
it on the phone.
I
We're
believe
gonna
I'm in the
track
proper
it.
lane.
And I remember I was like, man, this guy has like long hair. He's like, one to drink in my tent. I was like, we're in war, bro. I was like, what?
We got war shit to do, dude.
yeah, that's a
I know.
whole nother story.
I had a British cross training guy like breathe somebody's rib, dicking around. It was like
drink.
training. It was like it was infantry.
Oh,
like I
fuck's
was a
sake.
medic out with infantry, whatever. It was some British
wanted
infantry.
to do is put on my
humongous
blinker,
black
fuck.
dude. And he's like, hey, did you want to show us how you guys like, check
Oh,
after
fucking come
you
on.
think somebody's dead, make sure they're dead, like there's not a grenade under him or whatever. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure.
I leave them
Like,
alone.
fuck
have
off.
some fucking private walk, like lay down, pretend to be dead. He's like, first thing, I walk up, I give him the good news. This dude kicks this private directly in the fucking nuts.
Oh.
Actually doesn't. Private, and he goes, oh god, he's alive, and fucking body slams him. And this private had baby powder in his mag pouch, and the baby powder explodes all over his face.
Oh my god.
Don't you know, before I pick up the trailer,
That poor private.
Kicked his ass.
then we'll go.
God.
So you're.
Sorry.
Top off my tank before we start moving, so I don't
no,
have
that's what we're
to.
here for. The funny story is this: to that point, I was with a couple pairs, and they didn't have knots.
Most countries don't.
The
So
only
we'll go around
people at that
so I can
time
pull it
in
the
the
other proper
entire
way.
British military that had knots were the SAS, well, and the SBS. That's it. And like at that time, like our support engineers had knots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I just remember seeing that and going, "Wow!" Like, okay, that's a huge budgetary difference.
Bro, the Taliban had nods when I got there in 2010. Like, we found like bags of them that they bought off of eBay or some shit. And that's wild. It was, what year was this?
That was 02. That was the very beginning of
Wait,
Afghanistan.
were you there? When what was it? Operation Anaconda went down?
No, so we got there literally, I think 10 days. So we got there right after Roberts Ridge, which
Okay.
Roberts Ridge was at the tail end of Anaconda. That was 1st Ranger Battalion. We got there and switched out with, which reminds me of a good story. But, you'll see why. We switch out with 1st Ranger Battalion after Roberts Ridge, after Anaconda, and then Anaconda pushed all of them to the Paki border. So that's when we pushed and started building out stations on the Paki border.
You were like there, man. That was the Wild West. You guys familiar with
Oh, dude,
Anaconda?
when I showed up, it was.
I don't remember how I got it to go back into the other
here's
video.
great.
I would love, like, your stories are going to be so. This is what like, one of my favorite parts of it is how different the military stories can get between. And I know your stories, like mine. I think mine are like downplayed. I was like, yeah, I just got a gunfight every day, no big deal. And then I hear other people like, what? And then I like your stories. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's all relative to like, your
Combat
story
to
is always boring to you.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like blah blah blah. Like the only okay, that's not true. The one thing that was not boring to me was Fallujah. Like that was bananas.
What unit were you with at that time?
I
that
was
where you
with
at?
the unit. No, I was
Okay,
with the
you were
unit.
with the
And we were
Okay.
kind of attached to Marines. Long story, but we were.
I
Like,
love how you're
dude,
like redacting stuff right now. You're like, so I was.
Well, it's like
Wait, wait,
complicated. I mean, it's nothing cool. It's just complicated to explain it. But basically, dude, I mean, I remember
Everyone
showing
thinks
up.
this is cool as fuck here.
Yeah.
This guy thinks it's
Let's go
cool.
get my
He
freight
thinks
and let's
it's
get
cool.
off with my
I
job.
also think
I
it's fucking
actually
gay.
I'm gonna
think-
just hang out right here.
No, I actually think Fallujah was cool. Like, I remember showing up to Fallujah. Well, actually, this wasn't showing up to Fallujah, but it
Yeah,
was the
some
first time
certain
we
this
went
is
to the city.
gonna be
And at
bad,
the time, the Marines had
but
it surrounded. Literally.
Yes, I'm certain.
And
I need the job.
remember going to like this little base on
Okay.
like
Oh, I
the
see.
corner of Fallujah, and I remember driving in and getting out of the vehicle and just seeing the Mark 19 gunner like launch probably a whole can, and I was just like, so that's how it is here. Like, okay, you know what I mean? And dude, calling. No, we were calling.
Mark 19 is
Mark,
a
he's
full
a
on.
fully automatic
It's a
grenade launcher.
yeah. It's not like
A full cannon. How many rounds?
you couldn't. At
It's
that,
like 50 or 100.
no, it's 32. I think.
32.
32.
He would know.
But-
I'm not gonna question it.
Literally at that time, you couldn't even have a grenade launcher mounted on a vehicle in back. Like you couldn't even mount one because they didn't want them to have ammo or whatever. But there, they were just launching it, and then we were calling freaking F-18s in the freaking Spectre. Everyone would freaking literally be hot if they saw anything moving. So they would just fly overhead. We'd watch them, and they'd be like, tick, 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 you know, doing their little fucking massive explosion.
I love the sound.
This is gonna be the
effects.
slowest
That's part of
truck
these-
job I've
We
done.
would just sit on the. We would literally sit on the roof.
They tell me we can get through these lights.
It's so loud it like kind of drowns out, you know. So it's like loud and then it's kind of quiet. But yeah, it's true. But I mean, dude, freaking tanks were shooting minarets. Freaking Cobras were coming in and just launching missiles. It was like World War II.
I think once I get to
completely
highway, it
different
should be
warfare.
easier, but I'm gonna be stuck
But
behind
for
the
a
speed
person
limits.
that was like so into World
I didn't think
War II,
about
I was
that.
like, this is amazing.
It's fucking
It was
wild.
just, and it was the first time that I had seen an open war.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where just like the rules of engagement at that time is if you saw somebody in Fallujah, you could shoot them. Literally, saw someone.
That's like a wet dream to everybody who was in GWAT. Like it has a uniform, kill it. Like that's just
So it was like for mine, I went from hey, they have to be like shooting at you to engage to hey, now here's the new ROE where we were going to Moped. It was was like, hey, if they look shady, fucking shoot them. I was like, that's a change. We're going to a very bad area. And then we drove to that area, and it was
Define shady.
just... exactly. It's like, uh-huh. So it's one of those crazy things. I was like, holy shit.
That guy's in the shadow. Shoot him.
But
What? Whoa.
When you were talking about the Spectre, though, have you guys heard about what happened recently with the Spectre gunship? So, God bless America, right? So obviously, fucking, we're gonna make up a name of a country, Iran. I think that's
Turkestan.
Yeah.
Turkestan.
Yeah, Turkestan. And so they've been pumping all these money into these terrorist groups. These terrorist groups got a hold of some missiles, and they decided they were gonna fuck with American forces in Iraq. Can't remember the
Once I
name
get
of
up
the
here, I'll
base.
be fine.
But they fired a ballistic missile in. What they didn't realize is there was a Spectre gunship hanging out that watched it come in and went to where it came from, and then watched the guys go back to their house and then leveled the fucking building. But this is the best part. The entire time it was doing this fire mission, it had its ADS-B on, which means civilian air traffic controllers could see
may be
this thing
bad.
doing its gun run the entire time. The whole world saw this Spectre just fuck them up. This happened like a week ago.
Can I maybe? I think I'm stuck on something. To be honest
So
with
I
you.
was gonna say that. What was the thing I started with?
I know this truck was probably not meant to do what I'm doing,
So
and I'm okay
getting
with
your second
that.
bat, or getting there in Afghanistan. And this is
Yeah,
interesting.
do it.
I feel this. No, I've never heard.
We're all locked in on you.
This is-
Can you give me a
is
second,
very
guys?
interesting to everyone.
Yeah.
This is
Not
not
Move one of you guys over
combat,
here.
What I'm about to say, but it's. I find.
war crimes. I love those.
Like the Marines in
Look at his shirt.
Fallujah.
Read the shirt.
You know.
Never wore him the first time.
You know what I always say about the Geneva Convention? I wasn't there.
Well, America didn't sign it.
I
so
didn't
there's
sign
that.
anything.
Oh my god, I'm
What
getting
are you guys
control.
talking about? I wasn't there.
Control.
Yeah, I didn't sign
Yeah,
that
I
piece
didn't
of
sign
paper.
that. Whatever.
I don't even know who she is.
So the
Okay, anyways,
when we went to Afghanistan, like I said, Third Bat was already there, did the jump off the. They operate. So this is a critical part. So the first stuff in Afghanistan was all based off the Kitty Hawk, as you.
I
know.
feel like as long as I go up to
Shit,
get
my
up to
brother
speed
was on
again,
Kitty
we
Hawk.
should be
all
fine.
the entire initial part of Afghanistan.
So
was
that I feel like this is gonna be a pain in my ass.
Yes.
Pause.
So let's try to get as much speed as I can.
It's a carrier.
Yeah.
It was the last diesel carrier burned through 250,000
So-
gallons worth of diesel.
It's a
in
very
a week.
famous character, I
Oh, yeah.
would say, like probably one of the most well known.
I think it was the
Yeah, like Enterprise Kitty Hawk, probably.
And I think the Kitty Hawk, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong here, someone in the Navy will correct me. I think the Kitty Hawk was the last carrier that carried the F-14 Tomcat.
If you want to see autism at a table, this is autism. Like, oh, the Kitty Hawk, this. This is weaponized autism.
Hey man, it's a spectrum. It's a
Right.
spectrum, all right. But the
You're doing autism touches.
and
Come on, baby.
if I'm
Let's
not
make it up
mistaken,
here.
the Kitty Hawk was retrofitted to house soft forces, if I'm not mistaken. I have to look that up, but I think it was. But anyways, so that was the initial thing. After that, there was this island called Misira Island. Misira Island off the coast of Oman. Okay? And that is where Afghanistan started its initial staging after the Kitty Hawk. So this is what's crazy. It was this small island off of Oman, and you get there, and it's like this beautiful island. We called it Paradise Island. So there, you've got all the logistics troops. They've got like Midnight Chow. It's where all
Okay,
the
then change
troops
lanes.
are based.
Please do not stop on the
And
brakes like your
combat
American
troops
counterparts
there
do.
are going, spending a week to get acclimated,
Oh my
and then
God.
pushing to Afghanistan.
They
So it's
didn't
like
actually
you've
do what the
got this
American counterparts
weird-
do.
Okay, so this was a different staging area than Kuwait, because we did like Kuwait and then pushing to
Yeah,
Iraq.
yeah.
At least
that
not
was-
dead to me.
That was.
We still have
this
time
is
for this shit to fuck up.
Afghanistan.
Yeah, that's
Like this,
Yeah,
like
so
this,
is
like this. Please,
basically
please, please don't be on the brakes.
Afghanistan.
Please don't
This
be on
is
the brakes. Please don't be on the
Kuwait of
brakes.
Afghanistan, for lack of a better term.
So Kyrgyzstan wasn't stood up yet, I'm assuming. Manaz, Kyrgyzstan?
It might have been at the same time as well. I know for this initial part, like most of the stuff was based.
I'll
out
take
of
back what I
this,
said. They did
this
exactly like
island.
the other ones.
But I'm sure there was multiple.
Okay.
There wasn't enough logistics support close to Afghanistan to surface at all, I'm sure.
Okay.
But anyway, so it was just this weird thing. We show up and we've been so excited to go to war. Like we're all so excited. First bat just had, this is crazy. First bat just had Anaconda. So basically, from what I was told, they were there for whatever it was, 3 or 4 months, literally sitting at the airbase on QRF, which is the most shit job you can have. Literally, it's there waiting. You're doing nothing, and then they say go, and you have to spin up, and you're flying into. You have no idea what. It's like the worst job ever.
QRF.
QRF.
Yeah.
So basically, and then
I was put on a
Roberts
cruise.
Ridge
Not like I'm gonna get
was
over 72.
a QRF job for first bat. So you had the SEAL helicopter issue. I forget the guy's name.
No.
You talking about Chapman?
No, the Chapman was it's Neil Robbins. So Neil Robbins falls out of the helicopter, gets hit or whatever, and then they send first back QRF in. So they do like nothing. Again, from what they told me, they were doing nothing for months, and then they do one operation.
Okay,
and
so
they
I can
lose,
still
like,
flip this.
I forget,
Okay,
like
noted.
10 dudes. Or I think the
Just
total
both flipped
loss
her.
was like 16, but first bat itself lost like 8 or 10 guys. So it's this really bad scenario. So it was, I'll never forget it because we're going in there bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Everyone's got a high and a tight, freaking, no facial hair, whatever. First bat looks like they're zombies. They're all got long hair. They got facial hair. They're tanned like freaking,
Which, just for reference, like for Ranger Bat,
at that
correct
time.
me if I'm
At
wrong,
that time, yeah.
when you see like disheveled people in bat, that's like a no-go a lot of times. So that was probably like
No,
a
at that-
big surprise to you. Like, what the fuck? Why
Yeah.
did these go?
Yes.
Why are these guys so disheveled? Like,
Yeah, well, why did like just seeing Rangers with long hair at that time and facial,
They
it was
fuck,
like
because that's a big no. Like Ranger Bat is like that extra. Hey, where you hold the standard.
perfectly standards. You do exactly what they say, and so it was crazy. But the biggest thing with them is you could just see they were just over it.
Trying to figure out what was the point of
I'll
trying to
tell you
pass
what
me.
it was,
Just slow back
because,
down
again,
time.
I love.
Here, I move like this.
working
Good round.
history,
Go.
But I don't know it remotely as good as you. But it's like all those scenes where you got the new troops heading to the front line, and you got the troops that have just been wrecked on the front line heading back, and these guys are all riding
141
bushy tails, and
kilometers.
these guys are like, "Fucking have fun, dickhead." That whole kind of like,
Yeah,
you're
this
gonna
thing's
hate it
definitely
like
too
I
heavy
did
for this truck.
months.
Note to self for next time.
And
Well, that's
it's just
okay.
crazy.
Once I
And
earn
then
more
at the
money,
island, though,
we'll be
there's
off to the
jury.
races
So
and
imagine that
levels.
happening on the island while they're also tracing, like, I think it was 32 cases of chlamydia to one person in the chow hall who was a very enterprising young lady that basically was like,
Business is booming.
I think I can make a lot of money here. Yeah. So
This Uzi costs $500.
well, so you got this huge, like, all these people coming together, and then like I'd walk by to my tent or whatever, and you'd walk by the freaking Spectre crew, and I'll never forget they had this huge
Excuse me.
cardboard, very very well done art of like 400 like stick figures, like 8 tanks, like 17 AA things, and just you're like walking in, the Spectre crews are just wrecking shit. And they've got like this kill board, and you're like, wow, that's amazing. And while you look at their kill board, you look to the right, and they're there tanning in the daytime, and then just going out at night and wrecking shit. And
I'm
you're like,
telling
and I'm like, where did I go wrong? You know what I mean? Like,
Airmen?
I really screwed up.
Airmen love fucking like everyone who joins the military is like, oh, Marines love to kill people, right? Or unalive people. We'll say that word here, right? But anyone who's ever been to an airbase and had access to that drive, you know what drive I'm talking about. We're not going to get into it too much. They are organized terabytes of nose cam video and gun video and fucking gun run videos. They're organized by the number of kills. They're organized by the date. They're organized by geography. Terabytes of video. Airmen
dude, come on,
and
dude,
Air
come
Force
on, dude, don't
pilots
do this to me, come on,
love
go.
to unalive people.
I'm going to add one group of Air Force people to that list.
Who's that?
CCT.
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with CCT.
CCT are the combat controllers of the
Oh, the like the
special
dudes who
tactics.
call it stuff, right?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And they're like, I've never seen the amount of
92
savagery
kilometers to go.
of
Come on,
just
come on. Let's get
wrecking
this.
shit.
They love doing it.
All right,
It's-
so I'll tell you a cool story.
All right,
I
I'm
just
here
thought
for
of
it.
it.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, because I mentioned
Can
CCT.
we explain what a CCT is real quick? It's just to like,
Yeah.
to understand the level of like shit this particular individual. So like, they're Air Force,
Yep,
but they're
yep.
attached to other special forces units.
Yes,
So
yep.
they go out with Navy SEALs, Armies, Delta, whatever. Like they just Air Force is like, here's one guy, and that guy is basically the
Interface.
interface, the intermediate. He's the diplomat.
Dragging and dropping like five.
Oakland knows incoming.
No.
Like
He's
this,
literally the
I mean, both
diplomat
lanes.
between like the grunts on the ground and the largest military budget on the fucking planet.
It's-
Pretty much. And
Come on, dude. Come on, dude. Come
I
on, dude.
believe
Come on, dude.
every
You
CCT has
guys
to be
are coming up
licensed
every
as a
good list.
civilian air traffic controller
Yeah.
because they're
all.
allowed to call in that many fucking planes at the same time that they're also the air traffic controller for the planes is how much shit this one dude can call in.
Well, like
I don't know
when
how
he
I'm
was
gonna
talking
pass
about
off this.
Anaconda, right? So Operation Anaconda.
Yeah,
just
there's
quick
no
reference
real
here,
way.
I don't know a lot of it. I graded a lot of essays on it, so okay, I know little things. But
Yeah,
during
trailer
the peak
damage,
of
I fucking
Operation
understand. There's
Anaconda,
not much I
which,
can
so
do
Northern Alliance was supposed to encircle,
when the
take them
lanes
out,
are
was
too
supposed to
small
go
for
through and
this.
fucking wipe them out. Cool. Northern Alliance bitched out day one, ran off. They're like,
if I
this
was
is
doing this like
dangerous,
real
I don't
life,
want to be here, and they ran
that
away. So now
this shouldn't be
America
hauled
is
to
surrounded,
box
right?
store.
Target-rich environment, that's the way we look at things. So then they start calling for everything under the sun. And it took them a little while to get there, but once it got there, for 10 days straight, they had over 200 combat missions a day thrown into the Shicot Valley supporting the 10th Mountain. So, like, at first it was support these guys, and then it was, all right, we want you to hit them in the hills so they come towards us. So now they can choose to either die under a bomb or die from us.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they
Yeah,
get to
because
do.
you know
That's-
what? This world's not
Anaconda
big
was
enough.
fucking savage.
Thanks, game.
So fucking
Oh, yeah.
gangster.
Yes,
So
I
weird that
know.
our
That's
government gave
what I even
people
get focused on
options.
in the fucking first place.
I don't get
Okay,
it.
seriously.
I don't get it.
Sorry, continue.
The key is we must give them the illusion of free will.
Yes.
That's the secret.
When do you want to die under? Oh, okay. Well, this is way fucking bad.
It's very diplomatic.
I knew that something bad was going to
So
happen.
the so we're
Which means my cargoes. I'm going to also lose a bunch of money on the cargo.
So I'm driving from Fallujah to Baghdad in basically Iraqi cars.
Toyota Hilux.
It was actually an Alfa Romeo, which I fucking had that thing going. But so we're in an unarmored, unmarked
Keyword supercar.
and
Were you covered? Did you do fucking?
yeah, we were in.
Evan did this. Evan was like, we were dressed
And
like.
after this, they'll bring it
yeah.
part 2 to a stop. And I don't know if I'll be back to the stop.
Hold on. I love you so fucking much.
You can say that, though.
I want to get some of the car mods working. But
I know the
Yeah.
first time I heard that word, I was like, this is like a lot of other words we used in the past. It's only going to be against the rules. In about 5 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're like, we're using it now. I don't think we're gonna be using it later.
Yeah, I was like, during that time, I don't
But
think
at
we
the
should
same
call that-
time-
we shouldn't say that word.
Well, but at the same time, it just goes to show you too how just little, what's the word?
They have to
Environmental.
desensitize.
No, but environmental, cultural. How little cultural knowledge they give you just for reference. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many things. I'm like, I wish I would have known that. It would have helped a lot. But so, anyways, we're in the car. We leave, and we're just like, dude, this is not. And it was not a good time to drive. Like, this was crazy dangerous. And you know, we don't have Humvees, we don't have tanks, we have nothing. We're literally just
Alfa Romeo.
ourselves in an Alfa Romeo.
Ward.
And oh yeah, well not this
Fucking Ward
time.
is like, beep, beep.
Dude, we'd be driving and there'd be like IEDs going off and freaking. I remember one time, I don't even know where it came from, but a bomb went off and I was like, who dropped that? You know what I mean? Like, that wasn't an IED, that was a bomb. He's like, yeah, fuck, I don't know. But anyways, he's like, I got you, bro. This is the CT guy. CCT
We're
guy. He's like,
almost
I
there.
got you from the back seat. I was like, all right. So we're going, and about 30 seconds goes by, and I start like feeling this rumble, like straight up Jurassic Park
Play
shit.
something like
right?
this where I lose out.
It's weird. And these two F-16s, I'm pretty sure there were 16s, not 18s. They come down the freeway, buzzing everything, and just, you know that thing? Like, show.
Come on,
Yeah, and he
blow.
says, that's ours.
I really
he
want to make
had
it.
us being escorted by two
Can we make it?
F-16s,
Yes, we
you know what I
can.
mean?
Well, I
He's
certainly
like-
hope it's
he's
ours. I
like,
don't think the
we're-
Taliban got a hold of us.
Oh, I'm gaining power. Yes.
No, he meant that like they're gonna escort. You know, like,
Okay.
those are ours. Like I have control over them. They're
All
gonna
right.
be with us the whole way. And I
Show
was like,
for dude.
that's cool.
It's a good show force. When an F-16, we had one or whatever, the same thing. It was they did a show force for us. We called up and they were like, EOD had to show up for IED.
We're almost there,
just did a
people.
firefight, blah,
Almost
blah,
there,
blah. We're
everybody.
like, just throw F-16 for show force. It was
Scratch my
It
head.
flew up.
That was the most gangster.
Yeah,
thing I've
real
ever
smart idea.
seen.
Be going through
Bro,
real
I had
areas at
someone
70.
talking about a show of force. I had someone like, it was in the
And this
stream,
was
they
ruled
were
by
like,
God.
you know, why
Yeah.
doesn't America do those like, those parades, like the military
No, I
parades
showed
on
like,
the
you know, it's
TV
on
and
film.
shit? I was like, because the parade would never end. Like, I was like, let me put this in
Dude, why are you
perspective,
stopping?
right?
Dude,
We have
go.
19,000 Humvees. If 5 a minute went by, that's 3.5 days of Humvees. Holy
So
okay.
back, come
Just
on.
Humvees.
That's the most epic show.
Isn't the phrase from sea to shining sea?
Fuck, man, we have so much shit.
America does a show of force. It's just literally a live stream for 3 hours or 3 days. It's Humvees. Vehicle 1 is presented.
Tomorrow we're gonna try Hebbets.
Hey, is it North Korea that did that parade where the dudes all had Barretts?
Oh, was
Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't seen that.
Dude,
one.
literally, we'll look it up. Put the image on here. It's like
G-Man, you're right here. G-Man's actually here.
I'm taking
Guys,
that versus
G-Man's
what
here. Our editor
should
is
be
here.
happening.
it's literally an entire rows and rows of dudes, and they all have freaking 50 cal.
Oh, come
Barretts.
on. I
Those
fucking
are like
missed,
40
lad.
pounds
Are
of
you
chest.
joking?
Dudes are
Dude,
pretty strong.
I carried, yeah, dude, I carried one of those. I
Show the face.
freaking thing weighs 1,000,000 pounds.
It's our editor. He's here. We're gonna have an episode next week or next weekish with him.
Ish.
Fucking.
They
The amount
have
of-
I have no
Barretts
idea
on
what
their
actually just
chest.
happened.
No, literally, Barretts on their chest. There's like hundreds of them. I don't know.
Yeah, I can
I
assure
just
you, we
remember
don't
seeing
bring
that and going like, that's odd.
Parades. That's some communist shit.
Well, like it's like
Not
the
about
dudes
it.
who do the. You ever see the ones right before they invaded or attempted to invade Ukraine? They ran out of gas 50 miles in. But anyways, when Russia went before
Communism.
they invaded, yeah, fucking logistics, man. Just
Nick loves
so like they were doing backflips and like throwing axes, and I was like, that's cool. You're still gonna get shot from
Bro.
fucking 1,200 yards
There we
away.
go.
Like I
I know
don't
a
know what you want here.
19-year-old that looked like he was 40 that smoked 3 packs of Marlboro
God
Reds a day
damn.
named Schmitty. I'll take that dude versus 100 of them.
Any day of the week.
Let me introduce you to
Yeah.
something belt fed.
So here's,
Alright,
here's,
at least
here's
I'm-
the legitimate question.
Sounds like some.
Why?
Hold on. I'm just a commercial of like fucking Taekwondo ninja over here or fucking Schmidt just like
Bro, he had the 240, and you know the 240 gunner's got the. He rests both arms
Yeah,
on his.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was just he had the OG brown birth control
Oh.
glasses.
Oh,
my
yeah.
God,
And just
come on.
fucking
Come
a
on, let's get you on
cigarette in
suck.
each hand over the.
I know,
240s
dude, I
while they're
know.
Walking through
No
the
fucks
woods,
given.
How much
just
room do
all
I
day,
have?
like, yeah, yeah.
you know you're gonna be like
I got that guy.
Schmitty's gonna fuck shit up.
But that's my
That's fine.
question. Why are all Schmitties the same guy? You know what I mean?
It's 100%
It's just
the
like
time.
your name's Schmitty.
Just could you pass it?
You're
Come on,
him.
come on.
It's like
Come
a
on, come on, right there,
it's
right
like
there,
a
right there.
template.
Score. Off we go again.
Do we have enough of the Schmitty templates? No, we better turn that dial
A
up.
random generated NPC every
Yeah.
time Schmitty.
Yeah. And they're like, wait a minute. How are we doing on skis? Oh, we're good on skis today. You're like, okay, fuck.
I don't understand how it's supposed to pass it even with
Everyone has
proper equipment.
Turn it up.
This is
Turn
what
it up.
fuck
It's always the same guy.
why for all this. No, I'm gonna do this illegally.
Ski alphabet, as we called you.
Oh my god, to a T.
Always the same. It's just like a assembly line of soldiers.
Fucking
You do meet doppelgangers everywhere you fucking go. I'm waiting
Oh,
for the
yeah.
one I run into.
That was
who
definitely
brought me
not
some
wide enough.
PFC with a smoking habit who just doesn't give a fuck about the military. But you know, this is the thing. Listen to
You'll
this.
never
listen to
find
this.
him because
Listen.
my doppelganger's the fucking head of the evil mafia.
Every good NCO knows how to leverage the mafia. Every single fucking one of them. Every bad NCO tries to control the mafia. Every good one's like, look, I'm missing all this BII. You can go home as soon as I find it.
You gotta find me first.
That shit'll be there. Hold on. I know the mafia's hiding spots. They ain't all hidden.
No, you don't.
Just get me the mafia.
Open the shower. Open the
It-
stall.
that technique works. I had the laziest dude I've ever. Here's how lazy this guy was. Spotswood. That's his name. Spotswood. Spotswood was so lazy. Would you have to wake up at like? I mean, Foreign Missions like at
Oh,
at
I see.
that time.
I see.
Like,
I'm so
would
used to the
literally
original jobs.
Wake up and pull from underneath his bed a little tray of water and his toothbrush, so he could brush his teeth in bed. He was that guy. That's how lazy he was.
This sounds like Private Eli.
Fuck.
I slept. I had had my bed made.
You're
I
gonna
had-
seriously
I
make me
slept
adjust
in
this
my
entire
back, so I
aren't you?
didn't have to make
I
my
did.
bed.
I did the same thing. Yeah, don't.
Boot blouses underneath to hold the bed taut, so you
Yeah,
don't have
yeah,
to
yeah.
tuck
Yo,
shit in
Hunter,
every
There
morning.
we go.
I
Job
made
done.
my
That-
bed once in basic training. 100% true.
Same
yeah.
thing.
I'm happy.
I got yelled
But
at by
you know what?
Joe
It
Well,
is
when I
what it
saw
is.
like that system, I'm like, well, why don't we just do
Okay,
it this
we'll
way?
find
Yeah,
this
it's like the
optical park,
poncho liner, dude. The
and then-
greatest thing ever made.
Oh God,
But
it is.
We'll
But
continue.
anyways, we've just finally were like, dude, what are we supposed to do with this guy? And finally, we figured out. Hey, Spotswood, here's a list.
Ah, sweet. Right
When
down
you
here.
do all these things, you're off. I don't care if it's noon. Dude, that guy would get off by like 11 noon every day. It was the most perfect tactic ever. It's just how you deal
I wanna
with
get-
these things.
I'm telling you,
I
you got to
get rid
use
of
that mafia. You got to leverage the mafia the right way, right?
Leadership.
You treat
Click.
the mafia right.
Click.
You obviously hold them accountable when you need
That
to, but
works.
like when shit. Hey,
Okay, we'll
my
go down that
lieutenant's
way.
missing half the BI for their hungry.
Which means I gotta
Sooner it
reverse.
shows up, sooner y'all go home. You'll have extra shit. They're like, why do I have a breach
Acquired it.
operating handle for an Abrams main battle tank? Fuck it, it's yours now, ma'am. Like, just leave the shit alone. I'm telling you, the mafia, if you know how to leverage the mafia, you can get shit done.
I think this is to a striker.
Yeah, just
Roger, big arm.
fuck it. Mine
good
now. Yep.
Bonus door.
It's like, man, good to go.
Habitual. What are you working on right now? You've been crushing content. I had a blast doing my Asian accent with you. I love that you were the first person. You're like, fuck
Let's go
it.
fill one of these things
I'm
up.
gonna just do every
From up.
accent,
Meow.
and I'm not gonna.
Guess I know I'm speeding. I'm
And
okay
no
with
one's
that.
fucking-
Meow.
You treat it
I
like
really-
South Park. You're like, fuck it. I'm gonna just go full send. You can't because you're not knocking on any country specifically.
Exactly.
You're just generalizing.
Exactly, and I lucked out. Originally, I was like, I'm not going to do these things, and someone commented, they're like, oh, you only do white countries accents, and I was like, okay, so we will talk like a Japanese guy now. Like this, I just throw it all out there. Yeah, and
It is the federal electrician. He is my favorite content creator.
I haven't done the L's to R's yet, though. I'm trying to avoid that. Like,
You?
One day.
the fat electrician. Like, you just say with an R. Like, yeah, I haven't done that yet. So I was like,
Very white table. I'm allowed to do this accent.
Wait a minute, you're
No.
not white.
No.
That's not right.
man, I can do this
Yeah, you're
accent.
good.
for me,
I hate when the game makes me
honestly,
think that.
the wars that are kind of like popping across the world are keeping me pretty occupied. Like, there's always, I watch the news and then I'll see something, I'm like, I can make fun of that. That's really all I do is just, I can make fun of you. And the politicians in Washington really help out a lot. But I don't use their face. I just use Washington, D.C. to make the joke, and that's how I get away with it.
That's what I love. You asked me on the last video. You were like, "Hey, can you do the Chinese people?" I was like, "Yeah, totally, bro."
Oh, yeah.
And I was
got-
like, "Here you go."
I got a
can
video
you
in
do
mind.
Taiwan too? I was like, "Yeah, I think so." And then it worked automatically. I was
Oh
like,
man, that
I
was
love your
that video
content."
crushed. And you know what's crazy is that so many people knew it was you.
Which is
I'm
ridiculous.
gonna
You know,
rest.
my
I'm gonna
white
save it
Asian
here,
accent to that
and then I'll
degree.
be
It's
back.
like, I thought that
In a
was
bit.
Eli. And then
Possibly
I
to
see
continue
who was
this.
tagged. I was like,
I'm gonna
"That's
end the stream
fucking
for right
weird."
now.
Bro,
but
they
yeah.
knew immediately. it
Hope
was
you guys enjoyed.
God bless you.
I'll be
all
back
for
with a part
I'm
2.
gonna make him a
and
battleship. Don't worry,
yeah.
we're gonna make him a battleship. before
Doobie
you.
doobie 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 doop, boop, boop.
Oh yeah, I got some ideas, some plans up there.
Whiskey spelled W-I-S-K-Y.